Yeah, like my little turban, like a little hair turban. I don't wear do-rags no more. You know what I'm saying? Cause being out there in public, man, you can't have no do-rag on your head, but you can get away with like a little turban, you know. Glee, gleeful. This gonna be what, video number 2? Video number 2 of the day, man. From Modest I got plenty of time now. I ain't got nothing but time, you know. I've been busy with work, and I just been tired, you know. You get to that age in life where really you just work, come home, you know, you try to have a social life, but a lot of times you just be tired, and I just be tired. I will go to sleep. I'm going to bed. If I choose a night out with friends or sleep, I'm choosing sleep. 99.1% of the time, I'm choosing sleep. No hezzy. Everybody knows it. Plus, too many social rules. I ain't got time for it. So, today's video, second video of the day, we finna figure out how to win Monopoly every time. Man, the last time I played Monopoly, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I played with my grandpa, rest in peace. That was the last game I played with him, to be honest. It was 2014 or 15, I believe. You know, he died from liver cancer, so the last game him and my sister played was Monopoly, and I did pretty much rinse the board. And when I mean by rinse the board, I pretty much dominated the entire game of Monopoly. Now, I'm gonna tell you how I won before we watch this video, because I don't want to watch the video and then say, well, yeah, that's what I did. So how I won was I bought all the corner pieces on the Monopoly board, and then I bought one of each one of whatever that corner piece was. So if it was like a light blue, I don't remember what the light blues was. It was the light blues. I don't remember the other corner pieces, but I bought each color twice. Say it like that. I bought one of the corner pieces, and if that corner piece had another color to it, I bought that as well. So I had 2 of each going around the board, because it's a dice. The highest roller you can get, I think, is what, 12, I believe. So, you know, and that's how I looked at it. I think it was 12. So I bought all the corner pieces. I bought another color, and then I had like a couple of some other stuff, and then I just build on what I had. And each time you go around, you was either landing on each corner, passing go, passing another corner above one of the other. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out. You know, that wasn't my strategy going into the game. I just figured it out as I was playing, and I pretty much took everybody money. And then, you know, it wasn't really nothing left really to play. You know, I already won the game, so what are we playing? You know what I'm saying? So let's see how he can say you can win Monopoly every time. I wonder if it's the same thing.
Welcome to Moneymakers. Today, instead of our normal topic of money, we'll be discussing the board game.
Oh, this channel is called Moneymakers. That's the crazy thing about this channel.
Money, Monopoly. Whether you're new to the game or an expert, today we're going to cover how to win the game of Monopoly.
Alright, I would have the brown corner, I would have the pink, orange, red, yellow, and green. I bought each one of those corners, and I didn't have the blue. I think my sister had the blue, and I bought another color, so I had both browns. I had one of the blue sky blues or powder blues, one of the hot pinks. I had 2 of each. I had both browns, 2 of each color. And I think I had one of the utilities or whatever, and I built on what I had and rinsed the game. That's how I did it. Let's see how he do it.
We'll cover several key strategies.
Got to have the car or the hat. That's what I had every time. Car or the hat.
On that foundation in order to take over the game and win regardless of luck. The first basic tool we need to understand are the odds of dice. With 2 dice, there are 36 combinations of the dice. This means 7 and numbers closer to 7 have a higher probability of being rolled. This fundamental is important as it will dictate your strategies in relation to where you will land and where your opponents will land. Let's look at someone standing on go or jail, two likely spots to land. From these spots, there's a 39% chance of rolling a 6, 8, or 9 and landing on either the light blue or orange property set, which is why the odds of landing on these two monopolies is so high. When rolling dice, there's a 67% chance of rolling a 5 or a 9. At any given time, at any point in the game, it's important to identify where you and your opponents are, what is 7 spots ahead, and plan your strategy accordingly. Next, it is imperative to understand the board and understand where you or an opponent are likely to be. The board is not even, so some spots create a tactical advantage. Often overlooked is knowing where Chance and Community Chest will send you. Both Chance and Community Chest have 16 cards. 2 of the 16 Community Chest cards will move a player, 1 to go and 1 to jail, while 10 of the 16 Chance cards will move a player. You don't need a Vegas card counting level of tabs on which cards have been selected so far. However, you can keep track of which cards have been drawn, such as Boardwalk, Illinois Avenue, St. Charles Place. It can become useful later in the game. In a typical game, most cards will only be drawn once, so knowing what has been drawn can be a big advantage. It is also important to understand the hot and cool parts of the board. From go, without being sent to any spots on the board, it takes 5 average rolls of the dice to make it to the 4th row. This also assumes you don't land on the go to jail spot, which forms a natural barrier. This means players will be more likely to land on spots such as the light blue or orange property set.
See what I'm saying?
This is fairly common knowledge among any moderately skilled player. Therefore, it might be easier and cheaper to play defense and block these monopolies from being developed rather than try to acquire them for yourself. The process of carrying this out will be discussed later in the video. To win a game, you will need a monopoly. But first, it is critical to understand how you will use your monopoly. Let's take for example the red property set. Each house here costs $150, so to build one house on each property, it will cost $450 with a rent of $90. This means 5 people will need to land on here in order to break even. At 2 houses, the cost is $900, rent $250, and we'll need 4 people to land in order to break even. At 3 houses, the cost is $1350, rent $700, and you need just 2 people to land on your red properties in order to break even. This return on investment is the second key.
Hundos. Hundans.
Typical game, no free parking cash. The money supply will begin to dwindle as the money has largely been transferred to properties. This means big blows to a player with a 3-house rent payment and can significantly transfer the balance of the money supply and the balance of power in a game. After 3 houses, the return on investment isn't as great, and 4 houses or hotels should only be built as kill shots in order to bankrupt the player or if you have excess cash. When building houses, it is critical to view houses as a permanent investment. Selling houses only returns 50% of the price, making that a sunken cost, unlike a mortgaged property that can be rebuilt at the mortgaged rate with a 10% fee. When building houses, always mortgage a property instead of selling a house. Having houses is the key to winning the game, and railroads and utilities should only be viewed as passive income. Now that we have established the key fundamentals, it's time to win the game. This is done through negotiating and defense.
This is your financial advisor, your Uncle Jim.
And
The stock market, just like he knows everything about it.
I got the skill, my guy.
It's defending against the hot spots, most notably light blue and orange. Though depending on the game, the reds, pinks, or yellows might require attention too. The key is to trade to weak players who might hold the third property to a monopoly. This allows you to control the tempo. Often, a player will be more likely to trade with you knowing that you don't have the monopoly when your opponent does. If a game becomes extremely defensive, then owning the railroads or utilities can be beneficial if done early on. Almost every game will require a trade. The key is realizing how much money it takes to develop 3 houses. Row 1 and Row 4 have monopoly sets of 2 with brown and dark blue. Each other monopoly requires 9 houses to form 3 houses on each property, 7 houses to get 3 houses on just 1. Understanding these values is crucial because often you can flip a game into your favor without your opponents even realizing it, regardless of your luck. Let's take a scenario where you and your opponent both have $600. You own 1 light blue, 1 orange, and 2 pinks, while your opponent owns 2 oranges, 2 light blues, and a pink. By all measures, your opponent is winning, as the orange and light blue monopolies are superior to the pink. So, on your turn, you offer this deal: Oriental, St. James, for States, and $400. The board will erupt in anger, as they believe you just handed your opponent the game. And your opponent thinks he's just locked up the win, as now he owns the 2 best monopolies and gave up peanuts. However, with your $1,000, you build 10 houses on the pinks immediately, getting you $450 to $700 each time someone lands on the properties. Your opponent, with $200, can only build 2 houses on orange or 4 houses on light blue, and make no more than $100 by someone landing on it. Knowing your position on the board, you may be able to quickly get into rent collections before anybody realizes what's just happened. Before your opponent realizes that his only option is to mortgage the oranges that he's been after the entire game to build more on light blue, you've already collected rent and have drastically shifted the money supply in your favor. Now, this won't work if your opponent has properties to mortgage, because they can simply mortgage them and build houses right away. This example is meant to be questionable, to demonstrate how you can still hijack a game even when your opponents don't feel like trading. In a real game, you should be able to get far more favorable deals, and the possibilities for deals are countless. The key is to understand how much money both you and your opponent have for developing, and to trick them into thinking they just got a great deal. Knowing
I'm done.
houses when they can't will allow you
I'm thinking the crisps too, man.
of money supply.
The crisps.
To recap, Monopoly comes down to understanding the odds of the dice and know where you or your opponent may land next turn. Then, knowing the board to further anticipate hotspots and likelihood of players being in any part of the board at any given time. Then, leveraging houses to deal critical blows to your opponents while building your own wealth, defending against dangerous spots, and then executing a trade which allows you to build houses when your opponent can't. So guys, those are the tools in order to win any game.
There you go.
There are more strategies that weren't able to fit into the runtime of this video. If you'd like me to make a second video on advanced tactics, please mention it in the comments. Here at Moneymakers, our videos discuss all forms of money and investing, including Monopoly money. If you'd like to better educate yourself.
Alright, that's it, man. There you go. He pretty much explained what I did on accident in a way. You know, I pretty much explained what I did. I bought the corners with 2 properties and won the game. He pretty much, see what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to tell y'all before he said it, because he said it. Everybody in the comments, damn, bro, you just copy what he said. No, bruh. Like, I been did that. I did that. Well, I'm my ear off. You feel me? I did that, 7 years ago? What year we in? 2021? I did that about 6-7 years ago. You feel me? So, look. Follow me. Follow him. Mix him. And you win every time. Every time. You gotta get the corners. You have to get the corners on Monopoly. Rants everybody out and you win. You dominate the game. You dominate the game, man. That's how you win Monopoly every time. Every time. Hey, man. 2 videos one day. Man, what would Kobe do? Kobe shooting a 3. I'm finna give y'all one more video for the day. One more video for the day, man. I got to. Like I said, 2 to 3 videos every day, man. We grinding. Grind season. I got time. Hey, man. And when I upload, man, I appreciate the views, because you ain't gotta watch me. You ain't gotta like me. But if you ride with me, we ride for life. Modest Gang out.